Hey guys and girls, welcome to this week's episode of the No BS with Birchy podcast. I'm your host, Nathan Birch, and this is a show unraveling the truth to the facade of the 21st century. We're now exiting the matrix and waking up to motherfucking reality. The intro will never get old. I might be getting old. The business is getting old. We're 15 years old this year. So I thought I'd do a podcast about the last 15 years of B.Invested, where we started from, where we're going to, some of the challenges, some of the growths that we've had, some of the wins, how we've had to change, evolve, adapt, and be a part of what we're doing today. So I guess if we go back to where it all started, I actually look back at my goals sometimes, and inside my goals it has stuff from like 2003 and 2004 and where I want to be when I'm 2009 and all that. And it actually scares me, right? Like as I'm saying this, I've got goosebumps and, if you can see them, the hair standing up on my arms and legs. Because of the things that I've actually put down, I thought, well, fucking totally unachievable. And I'll look back 10, 15, 20 years later and be like, wow, I really did that. It was only the other day, I was going through my goals from 18 months ago roughly. And I was doing my goals and I hadn't looked back on those goals from like 2021, into 2021. And I was looking at them like, wow, like I actually went and bought a new house, I went and did this, I went and did that. I've got this specific, lineup of, lenders that I'm using and different things like that. And it's like, wow, like I've had to manifest that, right? And it's being obsessed with it. It's having clarity. It's being clear in your own mind. And I think as I've grown and evolved over the last 20 years professionally, the business came into fruition 15 years ago, and it's kicking ass on our 15th birthday. But the next 15 years, it scares me as to how we can change the landscape and all that sort of stuff. So. I'll jump straight into why I started the business. I actually started the business in 2009. I was 25 years old. I'm 39 this year, and 24 years old. Sorry, I was 24 years old, 2009, and I had an ego. Like one of my things was I wanted to be famous. I wanted to educate people. I've built these cool property portfolio. Retired with like 20 properties in the GFC. People were scared for their job. I was like resigning, and my boss was like, "Don't resign. You're doing yourself a disservice." Like, no, this is a disservice. I don't want to be here. I've made my money. Property's my game. And at that point, I used to go on the TV and the media. Been on TV over 100 times. Used to do a lot of stuff in all the mainstream media out there, until I realised that the whole system we live in is fake. It's just really the matrix that's out there. So I won't go too much into that. But I've been very exposed in the media. Worked in the media. Understand how it all works. And but I was in there, and it was more of an ego base, right? I started with an ego. 2009, 24-year-old kid, all over the news, buying all these properties. It was cool. But then I was like, how do I build that in my business? And I wanted to build an education business, and that's why I started B.Invested. And then people were like, I was doing mentoring and stuff like that. People were like, Nathan, can you help us build a portfolio? I was like, yeah, I can do that. I don't really want to do it. And I started a buyer's agency. And at the time, there was no, I'd help someone build a buyer's agency beforehand. Like I was, giving my knowledge and thoughts and help training the clients before this. But looking back, it was not something I wanted to do, but I was like, look, I'll help you out. And I remember the first day I had like 15 people sign up, and they're like, oh, we want you to buy a property. You want you to buy a property. I was like, okay, cool. And at the time I was buying little shit houses in Mount Druitt for like 200 grand, 150 grand. And everyone was like, you're crazy. Why are you buying these things? I'm like, that's how I retired. You want to now retire? This is what you need to do. And it sort of evolved from there. I had to get some staff to help me out. I had to get offers, got all the overheads and all the shit that I never signed up for, right? Building business was far more challenging than building a property portfolio. Property portfolio was easy. 1, 2, 3 is very passive, right? But as a business owner and all the business stuff that comes with it, today, it started off with a few staff, and then I was like, shit, my staff have like committed to my goals, right? Like they've come on board, they've helped me like managing staff, managing emotions, managing challenges that come over the years. There's so many different personalities, like these things happen, right? And it's like, fuck, I'm not designed for that. I reckon probably the first 10 years of business, of B.Invested, being around for the first 10 years, I was probably shit with staff. Hands up, right? Looking at, the opportunities, and it was a switch that got flicked one day. It was like, the people that are around me, human capital, right? And I don't say that in a real wankerish way, but it's like, they're here, we can do great things, and it's bigger. Like I realized after maybe 2 years of business that it wasn't just me. It was like all the people that have, entrusted to come and work for the business, their families were supporting, all these people in different areas of the community just grew like wildfire. And as a business today, we have hundreds of staff. We're national, right? We've got dozen plus different businesses that we're active in of what we're doing and we're running. And there's a lot of things to manage. So as a business owner, growing in business, I never run a business beforehand. Things have evolved over the last 15 years. Started the education, started the buyer's agency, had some people that were good technicians that I referred business to, but when it came to money and certain things happened, they got greedy, right? And so I had to sort of bring in control of people that I trust, right? Having the people that you trust, doesn't matter how good they are, if you can't trust them, then it's fucked, right? So over the years, I've built up different businesses. So whether it be from a law firm, accountancy practice, a finance company, property management firms, I wanted the best people around me. The only way that I could is by controlling them and employing the people, putting the best people in the seats to be able to deliver that, not just for my own portfolio, but to my community. So a lot of my brands, besides B.Invested, are now like 12, 13 years old. Like, I don't even know how old half of them are, right? Because it's just, we've been growing, running. Like, I was looking the other day, I think I bought a Chinese restaurant like 2 years ago. I've stepped foot in it once. I don't serve dim sims. I don't know what's going on there, right? It came as a part of a resort. I always have a joke when I say I own a Chinese restaurant. But over the years, like, I've had to have the core team and work with those team. And so I've certainly had some big wins over the years when it comes to helping people build wealth in their portfolio. So many things that I've seen over the years. So if I think back to the whole landscape to 2009, right? 2009. Let's just think about it, right? Your phone in 2009 wasn't color. Okay? You had to plug your computer into a fucking modem. You can do a better reenactment of how a modem worked, right? And half the people watch this probably don't even know the pain of a fucking modem, right? But in 2009, you didn't have access to data on the tip of your fingers. YouTube was something that was just like brand new, right? So if I look back at statistics from back in 2008, 2009, I started making YouTube videos around then. They were just like clunky videos of me doing renos. I was like, check out this reno, guys. I'm renovating a house for $6,000. I bought it for 10 grand, 8 grand. And I'm showing people I'm going to get $250 a week. And people in the videos are like, I don't give a fuck about your reno, but how'd you buy a house for 10 grand, right? How'd you do this? How'd you do that? So it sort of revolutioned the way, because there was no one in this space. There was no one sitting in there talking about, hey, let's go buy 10 or 20 properties, right? If you're old enough to remember this, 10 years ago, you didn't have all these people out there going, oh, hey, I've got 20 properties. Hey, I've got 10 properties. And I'll look forward to today, and the people that are in the media, it's like they've taken that baton and they've run with it, right? And the torch. And I feel humbled that probably half of those people are B.Invested clients, or worked for us, or been a part of our business over that time. Certainly developed so many people that have gone international and done the same sort of things. I've got a mate that he was one of my first staff members ever, and he always said to me, I work to learn, not to earn, right? He was a tradie. He's in America now, and he does not like what we do, but they have different processes and stuff like that. He's bought like hundreds of properties in America. I've got a guy that came to us, and he watched our videos since he was 16, and he's in New Zealand. Never used our services, but he's applied the same strategy over in New Zealand. He loves talking and strategizing about what he can do over there and how he can grow his position. He's over 50 properties. I think he's like 22, 23, something like that. So, over the years, like, there's been so many great stories. I've personally single-handedly been a part of over 15,000 real estate transactions, right? That's fucking massive. See all these experts that, I've been a part of these. I still to this day do all the deals myself. I still to this day build my investors' portfolios myself, right? Very different. Someone comes to B.Invested and say, I want to build a portfolio. You're dealing with me personally, one-on-one, building out that portfolio. Over the years, I've seen hundreds of people being able to quit their job, right? Being able to live life on their terms, be able to tell their boss, hey, I don't want to work here anymore. I want to work 2 days a week. Oh no, you can't do that. You've got to work 5 days. Okay, I'm going to quit. Oh, you can work the 2 days if you want. We'll keep you, right? And if they wouldn't have been able to do that without applying the same strategies that I did to be able to workforce, it has grown, right? There's no denying that. And we've evolved over the years. We've had different branding. My first branding was like, I had a girlfriend actually make the logo. It was the B.Invested logo. The first, it looked like, I actually thought about it many years later, it looked like the compact computer logo, right? It was funny, but it was just a girlfriend that did that. And then we got the second reincarnation of the logo, which I never designed. It was about my team. It was people in my business. They all made a call for that. I didn't like it. And I sort of lost a bit of control out of my business at that point. Managing staff, managing teams, you've got to learn along the way. And then we had the most recent branding, and I think that's really important. Like we did that in 2023, and that's the vision of where the business is going, right? Like we've really captured the place of building wealth for investors, and there's not many people out there that build financial freedom like we do. There's all these scammy financial planners, right? 20 years ago, a financial planner coming in a suit, tie, a whiteboard and projector screen and a flip chart of showing you things, and then tell you to buy some shares, and they get all these they're just dodgy things out there. At B.Invested, we've been able to break that down, and we're trying to help everyone, everyday people, be able to kick ass. And at the end of the day, I grew up in Western Sydney. I didn't come from a privileged background. I grew up in a humble sort of family, blue collar family, and I've had to build everything myself. So, as I grow, my community's growing, the people are growing, the business is growing. We're all growing together, different stages, different levels, different problems, but we're all faced with adversity, and we're all faced with growth. We're all faced with, wins along the way. And I think that's what's cool about what we're achieving. But as we go to the next level, I want to make a million millionaires, right? That's one of the goals. If it's not myself today, if it's my team around me, it's my children, my grandchildren. We want to make a million millionaires. So that's one of the goals that we want to do here in Australia. So it doesn't need to be specifically here in Australia. And I know that people are, watching these videos and these podcasts, and I've never got, I'm not the one hands-on building that portfolio. Like if you're working with me, I build that portfolio for you, but you could just be building it yourself. And I don't even get to see the extent of the impact that this is having, this movement and this growth. So, I see us, taking over a lot more space. Like we've got a very good framework, very good team, very good processes and systems and procedures. I've had to grow. Like things that I talk about, things that I look at today in business, I'm like, wow, if I could go back to the 15 years ago and slap the younger version of myself around and be like, I could do a lot more damage in this space. But looking at where to in the future, I see ourselves being the leader. Like we are the leader in this industry, but I see us taking it to the next level, right? Like if we can bring the bank, right, to the everyday person. If you notice that throughout history, there's been different classes of people, right? There's different classes of people, and I'd say I'm, come from the blue collar, and I understand what goes on at all different levels. I see it, but when it comes to financial literacy, they talk a different language, right? It's like they talk in Latin. Right? It's like when we talk about law, everyone thinks the law of the legal system you taught in your public school, right, to keep you trapped. No one's talking about maritime law. No one's talking about common law. No one's talking about, this is way off topic, right? Way off topic. And I've done this over the years. I've gone way off topic with things, but it's very important because it's like, fuck, you should be questioning. You shouldn't. People go through life and they're obeying without questioning and just leading by blind faith. And that's cool in some things, but you need to ask a lot of questions because a lot of people are getting fed down the wrong garden path. But if you think about it, like, let's say you're having a baby, right? So here's maritime law, right? So what happens when you have a baby, right? You give birth, right? And you might pay some currency, some money, currency. And then, who do you meet? The baby comes out, you're born into this world, what happens? I meet the doctor. Hi, doc, right? There we go, right? When it comes to different areas of law, what about, let's think about the ocean, right? And we've got the water, which is flowing, right? Is water flowing? Yes. What's it called? It's the current sea, right? So when you're giving birth, you've got the birth canal. When you're in the water, you've got the canal, right? When you pull up and you've got your vessel, which is your cargo, your body, you go to what? You go to the dock. and then you give birth, right? So when you look at the law that we have around us, we're just taught by our system the law for, the meek, right? We're not taught about the laws that are, protecting all these people that are up higher, right? When we look at finances, there's lots of financial stuff which are for the brokies, right? And that's what they feed us, right? They started with credit cards, they started with MasterCard, they started with bank card, whatever they were back in the day. Now we've got Afterpay, Zip Pay, right? You're literally going out and buy fucking pizza from the pizza shop, spending $20 for the fucker, and putting it on Afterpay and paying it off over the next month, right? You kidding me? Do you think that anyone up the top of the food chain with the fucking big plaque on the outside of the building are talking about that? No. They talk in different financial languages. They talk in Latin. They talk in different knowledge bases. They don't share that with you. So I feel like it's my duty, right? And this is since about 2017, because I was very caught up in the fact of mainstream media. I was always on the mainstream media many years ago. And then I realized when I tried to give them the knowledge, they didn't want to share it, right? They don't want to share the knowledge because it shouldn't be coming out. So I started talking about it, and people were saying, Birchy, get off the drugs. We were watching these videos, get off the drugs. I've never touched drugs in my life. Imagine if I don't even fucking drink. Imagine if I did a bag of coke, right? But people go, get off the coke, Birchy, you're talking whacked up stuff. Because that's how weird and foreign it sounded at the time, the things that I was saying, right? But when I say it now, you've just been locked in your house for the last 3 years, folks, right? Things are very different. People are starting to see the cracks that are in the system. And I feel like it's my duty to share with you how to get to the top level, right? There's a game here to be had. You don't want to play? Good, go back to watching Married at First Sight, right? Go back to watching football, whatever it is, right? Go back to drinking beer, right? But if you want to see, there's things, is it easy? No, there's lots of learning, knowledge. Like, I didn't just wake up one day and go, oh, fuck, I've got hundreds of properties, I'm worth hundreds of millions of dollars. No, it didn't happen like that. It became learning. And if I can share that with the everyday person, that's the important part. So as a business, I see us evolving. We have our businesses around. We're all very approachable. We all talk the same language, but we understand where the sources are coming from, and we get that and we deliver that to the everyday person to be able to give them strategies. Like people say, oh, I can't buy a house. I can never buy a house to live in. I'm going to be fucked renting forever, whatever the case may be. You might be, and with that attitude, you'll certainly be there, right? But when you change the mindset, you go, well, hang on a second. Like, instead of buying a $1.5 million house, I'm going to be stuck to a mortgage for the next 20 years, paying $100,000 a year in interest. I could buy 7 investment properties that bring in another $150,000 a year income. Now I'm on not $100,000 anymore. I'm on 250, and I've got the same debt, but my tenants are paying for my rent. It's a different way of viewing the world. So, those strategies that we can implement into the everyday person's life to be able to help them get into their little space of financial freedom, right? There's only a certain amount of properties. Inflation is a big thing. People don't know about inflation. They're learning about inflation the last couple of years, but there's a lot more that people are going to learn over the next decade. I see myself being able to shepherd people from one class into another, just like I've done myself. So on that note, there has been heaps of challenges over the years. I've dealt with lots of amazing wins. Bought hundreds of properties. I've bought thousands of properties for investors, seen thousands of people become millionaires. I've seen the good and bad when people become successful. I've seen people with bad emotions, people with crazy thoughts, dealing with all different levels of regulations, authorities, and all different stuff like that. Tell you about all different parts of the law you never would have thought existed. The good, the bad, the indifferent. Most people would just turn up and go, oh, fuck, it's all too hard. Let's just go back to the easy part. But nothing good comes from, just being mediocre. So you need to keep pushing yourself, keep evolving, keep growing. And as a business, we've certainly done that and faced adversity with wins. And, I think it's important. So if we look back, 20 years ago, or 15 years ago in the business, a video camera, I used to connect it to the car. So there's like a suction cup and a screw that you put in the bottom of the camera. And on film videos, the camera was like this big, right? Ain't like, little iPhone today or little cameras. It was a big thing. And I'd be driving going, oh yeah, we're going out to see a property today. And I'd fucking walk a street of a housing commission area. You got half the local kids, dozen local kids trying to rob you for your camera, right? It's pretty funny, right? And I look back and I'm like, wow, they were pretty good days, but it seemed tough at the time. It's kind of fun when you look back. But now like the wealth that we're building, like we're transitioning wealth for people, right? We're seeing people that buy 10 properties in a year or two, they're making $2 million in net worth, $2 million in net worth in 2 years, right? If you break that down over 40 years, that's 50 grand a year. People go and sell their whole life to earn $2 million. People do it in 2 years. What's the rest of their life going to look like? Was it easy? Probably not, right? Nothing in life worthwhile ever is easy. But they're applying these strategies, applying the principles, the growth that people are having, the people retiring, people being able to keep up with inflation, to deal with the challenges of the world. They're the things that that I think are cool out there. And I think keeping it real as well. I keep it real today, but it's different than years ago. I used to talk different. I can't talk the same as I did 10 years ago because of the knowledge that I've got now. It's like, hey, I see this as fucking exciting, right? So yeah, we've grown our team, grown our community, grown our content, grown our businesses. Every sort of year we've added another business into the mix. We've got lots of cool things planned for moving forward. Naturally, if we're going to become like a bank and take on the banking world, that's where I see the next 15 years going, is taking on that world. But we've got, if you just think about this, right, if we've got 15,000 deals that we've done, and let's just say everyone made 200 grand on each deal, that's $30 billion worth of power that we've got there, right? $30 billion collectively as a community. That's if everyone made 200 grand on a property, right? I've got people that bought properties for 200 that are now worth 700 or 800 grand from 10 years ago. So they could have a lot more. What can we do as a community with $50 billion, $30 billion, in 10 years time, $100 billion, right? It's pretty powerful stuff. And I wouldn't have been able to achieve this if it wasn't for you guys, whether it's just a like on a video, whether it be a comment, or you guys engaging, sharing with your friends, people entrusting us to help them with their portfolio. We wouldn't have been able to help this many people if it wasn't for this great of a community. So I do want to share that with you guys, to thank you for 15 years of support and watching, and putting up with some of the stuff you may not have liked over the years. I'm sure I can't put out content that make everybody happy with everything that comes out of my mouth, but I sure aim to put out stuff that's going to help you improve your life. You can literally walk away with most of the videos that I do and go, fuck, if I do that, I can earn an extra bit of money. I can change my life by doing this. I can add this in this. I just try to give you free content. It doesn't really change my life. It changes your life if you take action or do it or not do it. So I just want to thank all of you for the support over the last 15 years, my team. So I've come across some very good people over the years and some not so good people over the years, right? And that's all a part of growing and whatnot, but you can't do good things with bad people. And one of the things that I've learned, if you do something multiple times over, you become very fucking good at it. And one thing that I am very good with today is making sure we've got the right people and growing the right people and helping people reach their own goals, right? Like my thing today isn't just helping you guys reach your personal goals. It's helping my staff, my team grow and evolve and become the people that they want to become. I've got staff that have retired. I've got staff that came to me when they're 16 years old and they're 25 and they leave me and they've got like 10 properties to their name, right? I've seen some really fucking cool stuff over the years. And, we can't deliver what we do if we don't live it ourselves and breathe it ourselves and are passionate about it and passionate about helping you guys. So just a little shout out there to my team that I got a lot of love for and a lot of respect for and care about. So guys and girls, 15 years on, technology still not my greatest forte. We just had the battery die on the camera as we're filming this podcast. I just wanted to thank everyone for tuning in. I look forward to the next 15 years. Really cool results out there, really cool community that we've built. Really cool growth out there. I'm really excited to see for the 15,000 transactions, the growth on those properties that we'll see over the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and the growth that all our investors in the community are making with their personal journeys to achieve what they want in their lives, to be able to live life on their terms, doing what they want, when they want, how they want. So on that note, folks, we'll catch up next week. Every Thursday, you can follow us on Apple Play, Google Play, Spotify, and YouTube. We'll catch up soon. Thanks a lot. And if you want to reach out to us, hit us up 1300 367 925. Email us at admin@B.Invested.com. Have a great day. Bye for now.
Like Bilal said, man, we're stuck in the matrix. This my advice, don't care if you take it. The dollar back to die, soon to be hyperinflated. This my 2 cents, don't care if you save it. Join beat the